think my goddamn bike is gaining weight because I'm having a hard time fitting this motherfucker in my car. It must be eating too much road. All right, so I told you about the atrocities of slavery. And from the class that I had last night, people were like, what? Like, why would the white slave master lady why would she impregnate the black woman? Because, keep this in mind, if the American African woman is already pregnant, master can blow load in that as much as he wants. Not only that, it keeps her from seeing him birth another baby with the slave women. Not only that, it allows her to incite some type of revenge on the people that work for her that she can't do to her husband. A lot of y'all need to understand something. We are only 173 years young. As a population, as a civilization, as a culture, African American people or American African people or richly melanated people have only been reading for 173 years, have only been studying for 173 years, have only been somewhat what you call freedom for 173 years. That's almost the same as a dog being chained up in the yard. How much observation, how much learning of that neighborhood can you do with a chain around your neck? And a lot of people want to say, man, if I was in motherfucking slavery, motherfucking crackers wouldn't did that shit to me. You're fucking lying. You wanna know why? Because cops right now are shooting black boys like it's a motherfucking duck hunt game. And you ain't fucking doing nothing. So shut your motherfucking ass up, bitch and nigga. Talking about if master wanted to take some poo-poo from you, you won't go give him none. Let me explain to you how this happens. You sleep in a barn with those children around you. The ones that they forcibly inseminate so they can get more field hands. Think about this. The same way that they make these horses mate, the people who collect dogs make them mate. That's the same thing that was done to us. So I don't know why you got it in your mind that everybody back then was a weak ass motherfucker and you just so goddamn tough with your iPhone or your Samsung in your hand. Listen to me very closely and carefully because you have to be a parent to understand this. Men, women, I need you to really listen. If you're asleep in a barn and some white man comes sneaking in the goddamn barn, and when he comes sneaking in that damn barn, the first thing he does is he grabs your 6-year-old girl or your 3-year-old boy. Okay? He's done it before because he knows you're going to wake up at night checking for them because you're afraid because he's always been doing it. But the point of why he does it, not only because he's fucked your husband in front of you, not only because he's already fucked your daughter in front of you, not only that he's fucked your son in front of you, but you know when he snatches your kids, he wants some. So he goes out there, takes them out the barn, goes in the middle of the field, and he waits for you. For you to come out there rolling your hands in the middle of the night, you know, you got a nice little blanket and stuff out there laid down with the baby and says, you know what I want. And he can beat it out of you. But sometimes when you let every slave or every person on that farm know what's going on, that's how the rebellions get started. So this is her dirty little secret that she has to keep because she's ashamed of it. Because you know, if he don't get to fuck you, he gonna fuck your son or your daughter in front of you. And there ain't nothing you can do about it but get your ass hung, get your breasts cut off, or get set on fucking fire, feathered, and tarred and feathered. So if you are a Caucasian person or a white person or whatever the fuck you consider yourself other than black or what we call non-black, we're non-whites, so you're non-black. But if you're watching this and you're offended, it's true. Don't just sit here and go, oh, that's a fucking lie. Look it the fuck up with your educated ass. Look it up. The reason why you have a systemic stem of hatred for me is because it's in your DNA. Hatred is taught or birthed. And it can be birthed in your blood. Kids don't even know they hate somebody until you start triggering key receptors in their mind. I'm serious. Hatred is taught. Love can be taught. Love is easier learned than hate. Children snatch toys from each other, and they don't hate each other. They're just mad because you snatched the toy. But as that aggression continues and continues, then people start to know the difference between like, not like, hate, and love. They start. That's why you got 4 quadrants in your heart. You got 4 different feelings. Like, not like, hate, and love. Your 4 elements in your heart. All right? So, for people to actually think that from this time period of 2014, even my big ass, I know they would have beat the fucking brakes off of me. You know what I'm saying? But you say to yourself, what do you do? What do you fucking do? You don't know what to do. That's why us as African Americans right now, we still don't know what to do because it's in our DNA. Because you're not willing to accept who is fucking you up. It is not your white neighbor next to you. Like I say, they don't control no financial capability. A lot of black people that watch me think that I have some against. I do not have anything against them. But I do have something against the 20 or 30% that gets our children shot, that ensures that your ass is unemployed. That's why you got time to watch this motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? You were the reason why you didn't get a good education. Also, it was a teacher in the situation that you were in because your mother was in that situation and her mother was in that situation. But sometimes we have to change the track of life that we're running, riding, or sliding down. We have to get out there and say, you know what, why the fuck am I running on this treadmill up a hill that ain't going nowhere? You have to look at your surroundings. Like I say, going up the mountain. A lot of people who make it to the top of the mountain don't respect you because of the trip you took. A lot of them don't respect you because you took the hard road. Because you wasn't observant enough to know that there was an easy road. Let me tell you something about some of your peers and your bosses. If they got old family money, chances are they bought their degrees. I'm here to tell you right now. Chances are they bought their degrees. Now, none of my friends that I know from military, they earned their degrees. But people out there, they got old money. When I say old money, I'm talking about Kodak, Michelin, Firestone money. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about that old money that you don't know shit about. That stupid ass millionaire son of a bitch bought his degrees. Because the father gave $8 million to the alumni. So instead of giving $360,000 to $450,000, which is normal tuition, he gave tuition for about 18, 20 fucking motherfuckers. That dude bought his degrees. So 9 times out of 10, your boss has learned from his dad or learned from his uncle how to run a business, but he really does not have an ethical process. If you think about it, if you examine and identify your boss, you must brief your boss so that they know what's going on. Because they don't know what the fuck's going on. Why would you have to brief somebody about their own company that's been established for the past 60 to 70 years if they knew how to run a company? How valuable are you but a watcher, but a guard dog, but a security guard over his or her assets? You're briefing him because you're in a particular department. He can know by the schematics where his or her finances is at, where his or her supply and demand is at, where his and her sales and stocks and incoming stocks are coming from, or going to. Where does the company sit right now? He doesn't look at the stock market. That's what he got your motherfucking asses for. Your highly educated, analytical ass for. But a lot of you cats be killing me talking about, if I was in slavery, I'd have got me a gun. How were you gonna get a gun? You gonna buy a gun from a white man who's doing the same thing to his slaves? Think about what our brothers and sisters of back in the day went through. They gave the luxury to you, and you out here shaking your ass, tatting yourself up. Let me tell you something about the song, Down by the River, Took a Little Walk. All right? That song came from old slave lingo. That's a song that came from old slave lingo. A lot of you jokers that are in the fraternities, the so-called alphas and Greeks in these fraternities, you mark yourself as a representation of ownership to that fraternity. I'm gonna tell you a little something about baptism. What Master used to do, just like they mark cattle, he used to mark his slaves. And what y'all don't know about perforated burns or third-degree burns, when you take a hot iron and you put it on flesh, it pulls the flesh off. Okay, so back then they didn't have PAM or what you call non-stick. So they wanted to keloid the flesh or make it bubble so it wouldn't open up. So what they do, they super cooled the body very quickly and instantly, flash the body, and then they dip the body to coagulate the blood cells. He's like, what the fuck does that mean? Watch closely. You march your chain gang, that's the sound of a man working on the chain, which they still got today in Mississippi, the chain gang, don't you know? What the fuck you think Sam Cooke was telling you? Most of these musical artists that are dead right now and did not die of something natural, they died of some bullshit, like falling out of fucking aircraft in a Cadillac on cocaine. None of our musical artists or actors can die normally. They must die in the worst fucking way, like Aerobes and Voltron and that Blazing Sword. let me stay on target real quick. So they marched the slaves down to the river, all right? Or the lake, or a body of water, even a fucking pond or swamp. They dip them in that water. When they bring them up, this is why they cross their arms like this. They close their eyes and they hold their nose. When they bring them down, pulling their chains behind them. Once they bring them down, get this big ass truck. Once they bring them down with their chains behind them, when they bring them up, guess what's waiting for them? That big ass meat symbol with them 2 alphabets that's showing ownership of the slave master's initials. That bitch screams. As soon as he screams, keep him fight, they drop him back down water so he can swallow some goddamn lake water. Therefore, this is where this symbol of embolism came from. So a lot of you Greeks and you fraternities, so-called educated, even you motherfuckers in your 40s and 50s, who got this emblem and this bullshit on your body, you don't even know where it came from. Because what you don't understand is, people back then weren't generally dumber or smarter. They were dealing with the situation the best way they could. Same way with people nowadays. You talk this, I would have done this and done this if I was in slavery. Bitch, you ain't doing shit now with the shit that's going on with cops shooting and killing kids. So shut the fuck up. You're killing more of us than you're touching or trying to kill them. Last but not least, one thing I can't stand when I get on social media is to see repugnant stupidity. This is the thing that gets me. It's almost worse than the invention of Chicken McNugget. One of these days, y'all gonna look that shit up. So, I'm on social media, drinking my coffee. And there's 2 to 3 couples about transgender couples. I mentioned this before on one of my desktops. If you look it up, I'd probably say, how did this happen? That's the name of the video. And the thing that fucks me up about this, I'm like, why is this shit so important? Why does it have to be on my radar? They won't accept it. Now, the whole purpose of homosexuality and any transgender anything is for population control. Y'all must know that. And it's also to form a third class. You have the dominant white party, now you have the Asians, which is the foreigners, and then you have the black female, then the black male, all right? It's to make sure they have a dominant class. So they need to take another class and put it past the Asians and foreigners, just below the whites and just above the blacks, which are your transgenders and homosexuals. That's why you got so many black people jumping off talking about gay is the new black. That's why they jumping over homosexuals, because they're not getting fucked up by cops. Not yet. They're not getting gathered up in these FEMA camps. Not yet. And they ain't injecting your little ass with some diseases that's gonna fuck you up pretty bad. Not yet. All right? This is why they make it illegal, so you can go ahead and register yourself. They know what the fuck you are. Okay. So, I always see it where it's a woman that changed herself into a man, and a man that changed herself into a woman. He has a vagina. She has a penis. Then she gets him pregnant. Remember, the he is a she and the she is a he. She gets him pregnant so they can have a child. She's been taking hormone therapy, and he's been taking hormone therapy. And they're married. Now, this is my thing with it. Why the fuck couldn't y'all just stay the same sex and do the same fucking thing? If you knew that this nigga with a dick and a dress and tits was gonna fuck you with no tits and a pussy with a short haircut from the Marine Corps, why the fuck didn't y'all just stay where the fuck y'all were at? I symbolize myself as a man, but I still have heterosexual sex. That's what's weird to me about it, man. And this is my thing. You do what you need to do. But I always say to myself, if it does something to children, and you can't say, I can't say, you can't say, what it's doing to children. But I'm telling you, it's getting them to observe things a little bit different. Just imagine if you grew up in a world where fucking frogs ate squirrels. Not these super toadstools out in the swamps that most of y'all in physical science ain't seen. I'm talking about they ate rabbits and squirrels. What would you do if there were predatory frogs around? What would you do? What would you do if there was goddamn, let's see, they got squirrels that are eating meat. Things in our environment are constantly changing. And it's causing people to have a relapse of like, what the fuck is really going on? Do you understand what I'm saying? So all I'm simply saying is, with these relationships, if you're a man and you want to be a woman, and you're a woman, you want to be a man, and y'all still marry each other, isn't that like a waste of cash on surgery? Especially when the she becomes a he and becomes a pregnant. I know y'all think I'm picking on you, man, but just think about the world you live in. A lot of y'all scared to say something about it. You froze up. And this is why I address you with, y'all talk all that, I would have done this in slavery. You ain't doing shit about the shit happening in our world right now. At least I'm giving my opinion. At least I'm posting. At least I'm saying what's on my mind. At least I'm fucking honest to them. Honesty goes a long fucking way. Peace. Y'all have a good day.